Film Festival. This is what, day 3?
It is day 3. Yep, day 3.
It feels like we're already half done, but we're just beginning.
We're about a quarter done.
We're about a quarter done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, the response has been really, really astounding, and it's really exciting to watch so many people, to watch the numbers go up as people are watching the movies. Today, what do we have on the docket? Well, for the next up until midnight, we have 2 screenings that are available online. We have 17 Men, which is a feature documentary. The screening is presented by Classic Hits Coast 101.1 FM. It's a feature documentary from the West Coast of Newfoundland about a theater production about Memorial Day. And it's paired with a short film called Some Assembly Required, a digital animation. And also we have a feature from Japan called Closet, which is really fascinating. I haven't seen this myself, but I'm very excited to see this today. It's about the life of a professional cuddler. And so, yeah, anyway, it looks really, really good. Very interesting, complex emotions, and so it really speaks to even the pandemic experience, I believe.
So a very beautiful film, I think, very that will resonate very well in these trying times.
In these trying times, oh boy.
They're very trying.
They're trying hard to mess with us, that's for sure. Also paired with that is piece number 1, which is a short, local short. And on the call today, we have a number of the filmmakers, and we're going to do short little Q&As with those folks. So if you do have any questions for them, feel free to leave a comment. And our tech, Phil Winters, is will bring that to us. He's on deck. He's on a beach, or his virtual background is a beach, but his video is off now. Anyway, so yeah. First up, we'll talk with I guess who should we go for first? Let's talk to Tyler first with Some Assembly Required. Tyler, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. How are you?
Not bad. Just getting used to the Zoom.
You're on the West Coast, right? Where are you now?
Right at the Kona campus, where we got it in Steamville.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, we were just talking off air about how we know each other. Like ages ago, 10 years ago, you submitted a comic drawing when you were like 15 to the Scopes comics contest, and you like really impressed us, and you came as a runner-up. We sent you some money, and but anyway, we were really impressed. And then later on, now I find out that you've gone into digital animation, and seeing your short now, it's really impressive.
Yeah, and I've always got a little place in my heart for the Simply Scissors too. He was there's a lot of gags with that. I had about 5. Donna mentioned the looking sharp one, but there's a really good one. He's running track, and the coach is telling the kids, don't run with him, don't run near him. He's got scissors.
Put your eye out.
Yeah.
Scissor man. Anyway. So tell me, tell me about this short. How did this short come about?
I basically pushed myself to get something 3D done, and so I really worked on my storytelling and to get a consecutive short that I could produce. And there was even supposed to be way more to that. The theme was really going to be something along the lines of new is not always better. Like he starts off flying the spoon around, which I was trying to put more emphasis on, and at the end I was going to try and make him go back to the spoon, but you get into this work and it's a crunch,
Right. So the story is that well, anyway, spoilers, it's a very short film, so like you just watch it.
It's that he was content with the spoon before he saw the new toy, and then new toy ended up just being work for him.
Yeah, and disaster.
And disaster.
Oh shit! I totally did spoil it. Anyway, but so digital animation. How did you get into that?
I've always made these comics, as you know, with young attempts at it, and I've always drawn and stuff like that. So I figured animation was the logical next step, and to combine them, and really taken 2D a little more seriously this year with some new programs that are or Blender, if anybody's ever heard of it. Really focused on their 2D development right now, and so it's easier to tell a story in 2D, and I got a lot of stories. So
it is easier to do a story like from the experience, like minimal contact that I have with that world. I've played around with Blender, and it's like I've made some particles move around. That's about it.
it's free, so it's basically the hardest program you could ever learn because there's everybody and got a different way of doing stuff.
Yeah, right. Was the short that you made that's in the festival? Was that made in Blender, or was
No, that was made in Blender, but the files are all pretty transferable and stuff like that. So I plan to use assets from it in the future and whatever. It's actually really detailed. Like you could pick up every individual object on the shelves that I showed for like 1 second.
Right.
And it was like that was a bit more than I needed.
Right. In a world where like you could have just
the character is fully rigged to do face stuff, and then at the end of it was just such a crunch getting the full film out, right?
Right. Was this
so
a film
if you
project?
notice, his face is basically just gaping the whole mouth. His mouth is gaping the whole film. So that was looking back,
Was this a school project, or was this just something
Yeah,
you wanted to do?
it was something I did for a final project.
And how long did it take from start to finish?
We had about half a semester, which give or take 4 months. But the development of it, I actually had written an entirely different story that I looked at with my teacher, and they were like, it's way too long, way too many rooms and stuff like that. You don't want to. But then I ended up putting a lot of time into the kitchen. So, looking back.
Well, yeah,
I've really got the drive to do more stories. You guys like the Newfie Dragon over the Christmas one you guys did.
The animation challenge, right?
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. With the group was just great.
That's great. Yeah,
that was a super fun challenge.
Yeah, the animation challenge was new this year. We did it all month in January. But some other people know us. The biggest challenge that we do every year is the horror challenge, and we've just started doing more and more different little challenges over the years. And this is a good segue, actually, because Naomi Russell actually did one for the was it the doc challenge? You did one for the doc challenge last year.
I started with the doc challenge last year and did the animation challenge in January as well.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Tyler, thank you very much for talking to me. I'm gonna just chat with Naomi about her film now.
Thanks again for the exposure, guys, and can't wait to see what you guys got up your sleeves.
Thank you. So Naomi, how are you? Hi.
Pretty good. How are you?
Excellent. So yeah, congratulations on your film and then having it on piece number 1. And can you, how would you describe this film to someone who has never seen it before? What would you say?
So I guess there's a couple of recurring themes in it. I designed it for the program I'm doing in school. I'm doing the Stage and Screen Studies diploma program at MUN. So I actually did this film as a end of the semester project for one of my classes. And it just turned out better than I thought it would. And I thought maybe, I can go a little bit further with this. I feel like there's some nice themes going on. There's some nice shots in this. It looks, it's one of the bigger projects that I've done. So it kind of The project came to me out of one shot that I took. I was doing a smaller project earlier in the semester, and I got this shot of my main male actor in my film, of him looking out the window as a silhouette with the sunflowers and the view of the harbor in the background. And I thought to myself, well, this is a beautiful shot. It's very dark. It's very moody and alternative. I should go further with this. So ideas started coming to me, and I started, building a story around this shot. And I based the film off of, this story that came to me, I based it on my sister and her boyfriend, who are in a long-term relationship, and they're long distance. And watching the hardships that they went through and how they managed to stay connected with each other through the things that they loved, and managed to stay in love with each other through the distance. And I know that a lot of people have to do that, especially now during the pandemic, where there's people in long distance relationships that they didn't choose that. So it's got to be difficult for people who are living in different provinces or different countries even, that can't see each other right now. So I thought it was an important message. And so basically it's a short film. It's silent, which is, I'm trying to branch into more speaking role films, which I have done a few small ones, but I just have a particular fondness for silent films. So I designed it to be sort of a silent art film where the audience has to pick meaning out of it themselves, instead of having dialogue to tell them what's going on. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and how did, what were some of your inspiration for the movie? Because was there anything that you drew from to as inspiration for the film?
Well, mainly, looking at the relationship between my sister and her partner, and the original image that I had of the character looking out the window, the story just started to build around that. And when I got the idea of making a short silent film about a long distance relationship, knowing, living with my sister and seeing what she was going through, definitely served as the main inspiration for the story that I built in the film, between the male and the female phoning each other and keeping in contact through, the Polaroid images and the memories that they have of each other. So.
Right. And was there a particular favorite moment of yours, or in the filmmaking process, where everything seemed to come together, or fell apart, or whatever?
Well, trying to get the weather conditions for the two different shots between my female and my male, I mean, that was important to me. I filmed over a couple of days, and in the scenes where my male actor is staring out the window over the harbor, it's a very overcast day, which was important because it cast more of the silhouette on the camera. Mm-hmm. So he looked more like a dark figure instead of being able to see his features. Mm-hmm. So that was really important. And on the day where I shot my female character, it was raining very heavily outside. Mm-hmm. And actually, I had alternate plans for some of her scenes. I wanted to do some outdoor shots, but the rain completely ruined it for me. But I almost like what I got inside more than what I had planned for outside. I shot this plan B kind of thing, and I fell in love with it more than my original idea. So, it could have fallen apart there, having to go with my plan B idea, but it ended up really coming together instead. So I was really happy about that.
I love how short it is, how you've just put these images together and kept it quite short, and just wanted told this silent story. But you didn't feel the need to cram too much information into the thing.
Well, that's kind of my style. I like really, really simple, quick images. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm trying to do more projects with speaking roles, and also make my projects a little bit longer. But I was really happy with this one being at the length that it was, mm-hmm. and being silent, because silent films just, there's just something really magical about a silent film, something really special, because you don't have the actor, literally telling you what's going on.
Mhm.
You have to decipher it from the images that you're seeing. And an image speaks 1,000 words. You can get many meanings out of films in general, but you can get many meanings out of something that isn't literally telling you what's happening.
Mhm.
So it kind of leaves a little bit up to the audience to pick out what they want to take away from it.
Yeah. One last question, I guess, before I move on. But like, what drew you to filmmaking? Because it seems like you have this drive to make movies. Like you started with the like you're similar to Tyler as far as I can tell, in that like it's just like this something that you need to make. What about filmmaking? Drew
It
you?
goes back, I think, a really long time. I remember picking up my grandmother's Sony Hi8 video camera that records on cassette tapes,
Mhm.
and being maybe 5 or 6 years old when I first picked it up, and just filming everything that I was doing all the time. And that's when my love for cameras started. I would just film, a bird walking on the lawn, or, me picking up objects in the house that belonged to me and explaining them. I've been playing with cameras since such a young age. And I remember even being a child and my mom telling me that I was a born director because I was so bossy. But I'm channeling that bossiness into becoming a better director and filmmaker now in my early 20s. So I'm trying to do as many projects as I can, and I actually own 36 cameras. So
36. Whoa.
yeah. So I'm now learning to shoot with 35 millimeter film. So I'm just trying to branch into doing as much now in the film community as I can, and making a name for myself and putting my art out there.
Well, that's great. That's excellent. Yeah, congratulations on their short.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the Devin? Have you seen any questions on the live stream?
Not as of yet, but if anyone has, right now we still have Naomi and Tyler on the call. So if anyone does have one that they want to ask while we're talking to John next from 17 Men, we can circle back to it after. But yeah, nothing yet.
Totally. Okay, now on to John McKinnon, who one of the co-directors on 17 Men. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thanks a lot for having me. How are you doing today?
Not bad, not bad. Welcome. Thank you. Congratulations on the movie, and we're very excited to be showing this film to people across the province.
Well, thank you very much. We're myself and business partner Peter Buckle are really happy to be in the Nickel this year, and yeah, I'm very excited to be here today.
So tell me about this project. How did it start?
So 17 Men started with, we were working and work every year with Theatre Newfoundland Labrador at their Grossmorn Theatre Festival in Cowhead. And back in 2014, we went down there to document a memorial show in which Jeff Pitcher, the artistic director, had written it. And it wanted to tell the story of 4 men off of the Cowhead Cenotaph, and starting in 2014 to 2018. So by the time we got up to the final year, we would be able to tell all 17 men's stories. So we went down there and documented the show. And then over the course of these couple of years, Jeff started writing the script and wanted to turn it into a play, felt there was more to be told there. So he started exploring it, and we would always come down and film and document it. And so that's how the documentary started taking shape there.
And this is obviously like an important thing for a lot of people in that area. Like, how was it working on a project that was so close to people's hearts?
It was really special working on a project like this. We interviewed one gentleman, Luke Payne, who's featured in the documentary, and his grandfather was James S. Payne, who fought in the First World War. And so you have his recollection of his grandfather, and then we have other people down there who talk about their own family members and people they remember throughout the community. And then so it was really, really special to learn the story down there, and to learn how, through this documentary, and everything TNL has done down there, that these stories are being kept alive year after year. So really special, really special.
It's interesting too, because you were there were some moments of fly on the wall stuff while your cameras were rolling. Well, you know, during like a dramaturg session and stuff, which it could be very sensitive to, like, you know, like for a playwright. But they gave you access to that. Like, how did you build up this trust in the people that you were working on?
Well, we've known Jeff for several years now, so we already had a good, really great relationship with Jeff. And you know, as soon as the idea was broached that we wanted to do this documentary in conjunction there with TNL, everyone down there was right on board with it. Anyone who wanted to be interviewed was okay. Anyone with B-roll footage like that. The dramaturg section of the film with Robert Schaaf. Robert was great, and he was happy to be part of it. Yeah. The actors, we film at one point, the actors doing their rehearsals, and then following that, we do the tech crew and everything doing their rehearsals. And everyone was just really proud to be part of it, because they all knew at the time, working towards the play and how special the play would be. But then they all wanted to help and knew what the documentary would mean as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting too, because the play is about real people, and you can't, that are kind of mysterious, and like you can't see. You have to find out as much information, and that was the approach that Jeff took to it. And then you're also making a documentary about these real people who are doing that, which is like a couple stacks of like people of realness. It's pretty fascinating, and yeah, it's like, it's complicated. It's hard to capture a person in a bottle, and so like, what about documentary filmmaking do you like?
Documentary filmmaking, I really love. I would say not really knowing where it might go and where it might lead. What I mean by that is, I think a lot of documentaries and documentary filmmakers would agree that you can go into a film and the story you want to tell initially when you go in, but things change, things that you might not anticipate changing, or you think to yourself, the story is kind of leading in this direction now. But also getting to meet the real people, sitting down, doing a candid interview with a real person, and it's not scripted. You don't know what that person's going to say, and to see them open up and explore and showcase what is coming out of them, or the memories that they had. I would say those two things would be my most favorite part of documentary filmmaking.
Well, that's it's a beautiful film, and it's a beautiful looking play. I haven't seen it, but I think it's a very important work that is going on.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Do you have anything final you'd like to say?
I would just like to say, on behalf of myself and Peter Buckle, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but we just want to say thank you very much for having us a part of the Nickel this year. And again, thanks for Theatre Newfoundland Labrador, Grossmore Theatre Festival, Jeff Pitcher, for allowing us to work with them and create this documentary.
Excellent. Yeah, so if there aren't any questions from the floor, from Facebook, does any of the other filmmakers have anything they want to say before we wrap it up? Tyler or Naomi?
Well, I did want to say I was very, very, very delighted to be a part of this. I was definitely very nervous, but I'm very happy to be here and delighted to be a part of the festival this year. So thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. We're all friends here. It's a big fun time. And Tyler, you
yeah, I just want to thank you guys. You're doing outstanding work, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, thanks. It's back at you.
I suppose before we go, we'll just quickly run through what we're playing tomorrow. That seems to be kind of what we've been doing. So tomorrow, 2 screenings again. The first is our horror shorts. So that's, yes, oh my God. I think not something that we necessarily do every year at the Nickel, but when we do, it's always, people have a hoot and a holler. So I would recommend checking that out if you're so inclined to those. And then our second screening is it's from the Nickel Archive, The Bingo Robbers. which is like a real classic in terms of in the context of Newfoundland independent filmmaking. I know a lot of people are really excited about it. I'm very excited about it. So check out the website tomorrow for all of that.
Yeah, and again, the films on today are 17 Men, a feature documentary, also featuring the short film Some Assembly Required, and the feature show Closet, about a professional cuddler from Japan, and that features a short film called Piece Number One, and that's available on nickelfestival.com for free.
Yes.
You're never going to see these films.
17 Men, presented by Coast 101.1. Thank you, Coast.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
Sponsor life.
Yeah. Shout outs. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.